Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a video today about something pretty serious. It is postpartum depression. It's something that I was not prepared for. The things I heard about postpartum and the things I learned about it were very, I don't want to say inaccurate, but far from what it really is. This whole time I thought postpartum was just when you wanted to kill your baby, honestly. And it's so much more than that. It can be a whole spectrum of strength, from tolerable to pretty awful. So I wanted to tell you guys my story and go over some things and kind of help you either understand, go through it, you know, whatever it may be. If someone you know is going through it, hopefully this video is helpful. And let's get started. So what is postpartum depression and how does it differ from the baby blues? So if you've ever heard that phrase, baby blues, it's literally defined as a period of sadness after having a baby. It usually lasts up to about 2 weeks and normally does not require medical attention. Postpartum depression is a more serious condition that could last months and months and months. Hopefully, you know, it doesn't turn into a depression that lasts years. And it's a whole lot of feelings. It's a lot of different emotions. It's a lot of transitioning to having a baby, and it's hormonal, and it could be also caused by things like C-section. So for me, I think a big part that triggered my postpartum was I had a C-section. I wasn't able to breastfeed. I was devastated. I wasn't able to breastfeed. So I fully believe that a trigger for me was not being able to breastfeed. C-sections can cause you to not release the bonding hormone, oxytocin. So you actually release that once the baby is going through the birthing canal. Your body releases oxytocin. Then when your baby is put on your chest for skin to skin, you both release oxytocin. It helps you bond with the baby, so on and so forth. So with a C-section, normally they will not place the baby on your chest. With me, they took him, they weighed him, you know, made sure he cried, they did everything that they do, and they took him. So he was in the nursery, he was being tested, and they were checking his blood sugar. So I didn't see him for the first hour or so. Another trigger could be just sheer exhaustion. You know, the exhaustion you feel having a baby for the first time, and just the process of giving birth or having a C-section, that whole like stress, and it's just so exhausting. And then taking your baby home, and your whole world is turned upside down. There's just so much going on. If you have help, if you don't have help, I'm sure it's way harder. We were lucky enough that we had a lot of support for the first 3 weeks of Polly's life. So you're essentially, you could be alone if you're a single mother. Like, there are so many triggers that can cause this, where you feel like, I just can't do this. I cannot do this. As far as symptoms go, some of the major symptoms are complete loss of appetite. I did not eat. I think that's another reason why I couldn't breastfeed. I was having pretty much a 0 caloric intake. I just would not eat. So loss of appetite is a big one. Insomnia, which you're really not sleeping that much anyway, but in the moments where you could sleep, you can't. Just serious, aggressive, intense mood swings where you're super high and then super low. Having a hard time bonding with baby, that's a big symptom. Pushing loved ones away is a big one. Feeling not good enough, feeling like you can't be a good mother, feeling worthless. Just overall depressed mood, excessive crying, anxiety or panic attacks, thoughts of hurting yourself or your baby, thoughts of suicide. So, you know, it's a lot. And hormones are a bitch. Hormone changes are absolutely awful. And I I was fine when I was pregnant. As far as moods go, I would cry here and there, but I felt pretty much normal. The biggest changes for me were physical. But after you have a baby, and not for everyone, right? And I'm not trying to scare anybody because everyone is different. And I swore up and down I wouldn't, have postpartum depression and I would be totally fine. But those hormonal, like you can't control it. It's not something you can control. People can say, well, you can choose to be happy. No, you fucking can't when your hormones are raging and you're freaking out 1 minute and then you're trying to get your shit together and your baby's screaming, crying, and there's a lot going on. So it's extremely, extremely hard to go through. A few things that I did that I believe really did help me, and these are pretty simple things, but just doing them daily, I feel like helped. I would go for walks. I would go outside 5, 6, 7 times a day. I would take Polly in the stroller, we would go for a walk, around the block or wherever. And just getting fresh air, getting the blood moving. You can lay in bed and just be miserable, but that's not gonna help anything. So going outside, getting some fresh air. And then if you can't leave your baby with anyone, then take them with you. Go on walks with the baby, go on drives with the baby if you're able to drive. That was the big one for me, just getting fresh air and stepping outside. I picked like 2 things that I could eat and I just ate those. So every morning I would have half a glass of almond milk and a couple berries. That's the one thing I could keep down, that I could really just eat. I was not hungry, so I was still forcing myself to eat this stuff, but at least I was getting something in my system. So it's super important to eat. Make a smoothie, find something that you love and have that. Whatever in the moment that you're like, that sounds good, that one thing, have that. Have something in your body, especially if you're trying to breastfeed. You need to have a higher caloric intake if you're trying to breastfeed, otherwise you won't produce milk. Call friends, call family members, cry, scream, vent. I called my mom 20 times a day. I felt like I was losing friends because I would just vent and vent and vent and vent, but find someone that will be there for you no matter what. Even if it's a doctor, it's a therapist, psychiatrist, someone that you can reach out to. It really helps, especially in those moments where you feel like you're losing it. Just have someone that you can call and talk to. Journal, write it down. I used to have pages and pages and pages when I was depressed of just scribbles and like stuff that I'm just like, whoa, this is scary, thoughts of just scary thoughts, not necessarily suicide or hurting myself or Paul, but just thoughts like, I'm not good enough, what am I doing? Like, why did I have a baby? I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'm too selfish. And just get it out, get that toxic shit out of your head. Write it down and then rip it up, burn it. I'm serious, that's really helpful. Here's a good one that I saw on one of my mommy Facebooks that I will link that down below. I saw someone recommend this on there, and they said go to the dollar store and buy a bunch of glass and like plates for $1 and smash the shit out of them. Go somewhere where there's like an empty or abandoned parking lot and just smash dishes. Clean up after yourself, please. Don't leave, a giant mess. But that will really, oh my God, just sounds amazing. I wish I could probably do that every day. Yeah, awesome idea. For me, postpartum lasted about 4 months. It started to get better. I would have like moments of sunshine in my brain and the fog in my brain. And it got better and better and better as the days went on. Some days were very hard. Some days were very good. So it got better. And then now Polly's almost 13 months and I feel completely back to normal. I still let stress get to me and anxiety, and I'm working on that. I'm actually reading an awesome book called Everything is Figure Outable. Highly recommend it. It took me forever to get started on it, but it's awesome. It's really helping my mindset change. So I'll actually link below some things you can watch or listen to, some of my favorite books, some of my favorite speakers, things like that, that hopefully will help you. That's another thing you can do too, is just take some time during the day and just listen to something really, really positive. I will also leave information down below for the CMHSA hotline, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, I think. So I will leave their number down below. It's 24/7. They are there to help you. I also highly recommend talking to your doctor. That's like your number one go-to is your doctor. I saw my doctor for my follow-up after I had Paul, and she asked me how I was doing, and I was like, I'm fine. She's like, are you eating? And I said, no. She's like, are you sleeping? And I said, no. And she was like, she asked me like 10 more questions, and as I'm answering them, I'm like, oh, man. And she goes, you're having a little bit of postpartum depression. And she was like, I want to prescribe you something. And I did not want to take it. I said, no, I don't need it. She was like, the prescription is here if you need it. Think about it. If it gets worse, do it. And within 2 days, it got so much worse that I filled the prescription. For me, it did not work. I was on Wellbutrin. It's supposed to be like a very light, just mood elevator, not like antidepressant. I didn't react to it well. It made me very, very angry. I had awful anger outbursts. Doug and I had a ginormous fight, and I flipped out. I acted like I'd never acted before, and I wanted to hurt him. I was so upset over something super dumb. I wanted to hurt him. I had to leave the room, and I threatened to leave him, and I was slamming doors and knocking shit off the walls, and I was violent. So, and it would, like, with the flip of a switch, I would be like, oh my God, what am I doing? Who am I? Like, it was insane. So I was on that for about 2 weeks, and then I stopped taking it. I would have these crazy thoughts about like demons in my house, and like I would wake up in the middle of the night to feed Polly, and I would be sitting in my living room, and I would think that like somebody was behind the couch. Like, it was really scary what my brain was doing. And then I was reading that you want to take a different medication to level out the Wellbutrin. So I was like, you know what, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking 2 meds just because one medication needs another medication to work. So please do not feel like taking medication is bad. I wish it would have helped me and I would have continued to take it, but I just decided to come off it and deal with it, which probably isn't the right thing. But I couldn't be on it, and I was so scared to get on anything else. But please, please, please call your doctor, call somebody, talk to someone, ask for help. I don't know why I fought it, and just know that it is a hard time, but you will get through it, okay? You will. Email me if you want to. I will talk to you. You'll get through it. And I promise it gets so much better. It gets so much better. And looking back now, it just seems like a flash. It doesn't seem like anything horrible. It happened, and I'm here, and I'm much better. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. I will see you guys in the next one.